Let's face it, Excel functions and formulas can be a nightmare. What if Excel and Copilot could actually write them for you? This video is sponsored by Sheetmatcher. Hey y'all, I'm Dave, I'm a Microsoft MVP, and the first use case I want to show you is how to do a formula with Microsoft Copilot, the free version of it. So I have a data set here, which is the daily sales data, and then I have a summary here in orange that I want to fill. My boss asked me to have the number of items by salesperson, but I don't actually know how to do that. So I will go to copilot.microsoft.com, the free version of Copilot, and I will ask him how to do it. If you have the business version of Microsoft Copilot, your UI might look like that, but if you have the free version, your interface might look like this one. All right, back to the Microsoft Copilot for business version here. Actually, I'm going to ask Copilot this prompt here. I need help with a Microsoft Excel function. I have my daily sales for the Piggy Beans Cafe. It's the best coffee shop in the world. And my boss asked me to do a summary of the items sold by salesperson, but I am a beginner in Excel and I don't know how. I need to put the summary results starting in cell 06, where the salesperson, which is my criteria, are in cell N6 through N10. Here is my Excel dataset that goes through columns B through L. And then I will add over to Excel and I will take a few of the first lines here of my data. I will hit Control C and then I will go back to Copilot and just paste it here. Paste it. Here we go. And Copilot will actually tell us how to do a formula right here. So if you want to have a snapshot of the whole prompt, it's right here at the top, which with my dataset that looks a little bit weird, but that's fine. Copilot understood. And Copilot gave me an answer and he's like, sure, I can help you with that. To summarize the items sold by each salesperson, you can use the SUMIF function in Excel. Here's how you can do it. Select the cell 06. This is where your summary will start, and enter the formula SUMIF function to sum the number of items sold by each salesperson. Here is the formula you can use in cell 06. I'm just going to take this here, copy with Control C, go back to Excel, put myself on cell 06, just like Copilot suggested. Then I'm going here, paste it in the formula bar at the top, and then we will see what Copilot gives me here. It says that the first argument is the range column D. I will have a look at column D here. Boom, it did it on the region here. Copilot misunderstood that, but all I have to do is actually swap over to column E because this is where the salesperson is. So I just clicked on the column E and it actually swapped it. And then for the second argument, which is the criteria, if I scroll to the right again, Copilot gave me the salesperson here, and this is actually accurate, right? So I have my criteria, which is my second argument. As we can see here, criteria is the condition or criteria in the form of a number, expression, or text. And then for the third argument, we have the number of items. Copilot gave me column J, so this is actually perfect. I have the number of items sold here. Just a side note, this is not best practice to take the whole column, but this formula will actually work. So I will just click enter here. Boom, and then it gives me my number of items. And then if I position my cursor on the lower down corner of this cell here, I just swipe down and boom, I release. And here we go. I have all of my data. And let's do a quick check if this was right, because I want to double check the AI every time, right? So I will go on column E here and I will filter on only one of my salesperson. I will take Cappuccino Kathy. She's my favorite. She's the best salesperson. And then I will add over to the number of items sold. I'm going to Control Shift down, and here we go. At the bottom in the status bar, I see 12,711. I will actually swipe up to my summary and see if Copilot gave me the right answer. 12,711. Copilot got this right with just a quick change. And now a quick word from our sponsor, Sheetmatcher. As a CPA, I often have to compare multiple Excel files. It's a task that demands precision and effort. Whether you're tracking changes, checking budget versions, or looking for specific discrepancies. it can be a very time-consuming process. With Sheetmatcher though, that process takes just seconds. You get clearly highlighted results, pinpointing missing records, formula discrepancies, and more. And all of that without sacrificing accuracy. And with the advanced options, even complex cases are covered. Now back to the video. Alright, for the second use case of this video, I want to show you Copilot in Excel, which is the paid version of Microsoft Copilot, and it's integrated into Excel. As you can see at the top here, I have my Copilot button. So we are back in our dataset, the Piggy Beans Cafe, the best cafe in the world. And for all of this to work, you will need to have your data as a table. So as you can see here, in my case, when I click on my table, I have a tab at the top that says Table Design. And my data is already set as a table, okay? So that's one thing that you don't need to do if it's already a table, else it's pretty simple. You click on Insert and then click on Table. It's going to give you a pop-up. I'll show you eventually how to do that in this video. For the practice file that you might have right now, it doesn't matter, all right? So we're going to show you how we can actually here split the first name and the last name with the help of Copilot, because we might not know how to do this. And this dataset has like 2,000 lines. So if I go manually and start typing espresso and then cappuccino, then it might take a lot of time, right? So I will just go into the Home tab here, click on Copilot, and I will tell Copilot what I want to do. Pretty simple, right? I will tell Copilot, I want to split my salesperson name between the first name and the last name. My salesperson names are always separated by a space. There we go. And we'll see what Copilot tells me. So it's just a Copilot integrated into Microsoft Excel. It makes life easier. And here we go. Copilot is actually suggesting me a first name column and a last name column using these two formulas here. Text after or even text before here. So what I'll do is actually click on Insert Columns, boom. And as you can see here in my dataset, I have my first name column and my last name column. I already had these columns, but Copilot actually just creates new column. So I'm going to go ahead and delete the column G here, delete column, and the last name column, delete column. In a matter of seconds, Copilot actually built this formula for me, which is the text after formula. So it gave me actually the text after a space in the column salesperson. So that's actually what we wanted, right? See by example here, F6, we have espresso, and then G6, we have martini, right? And then I'm going to want to have these initials of these person, right? So I'm going to go and type the first few one, E.M, and then C.C, and then L. Oh my goodness. So Copilot actually just suggested to fill these cells with the formula. So it detected a pattern in my typing, in my end typing, if I can say it like that. And I actually didn't have to prompt anything. It just popped in my face, right? So this is perfect. This is the function that we call formula by example. And it is only available right now in Excel Online, but it's going to get to Excel in Windows very soon. So I will just click, you know what? Let's click on Show Formula. And then what it says is that it used the left formula. So it took the first letter of the first name, then it added a dot, and then it took the first letter of the last name. So I'm just going to click on Apply here. And as you can see in my column H, I have all my initials. So that was formulas by example. So Copilot just detected a pattern. Amazing, right? We're gonna try something else here and let's see if that works. So here I have my numbers of item in column J and I have my price per unit in column K. And then I want to do a 71 times 5, which is 355. So I don't know how to do a mathematic expression in Excel. I don't know how to say that in English. I don't know how to do that, so I'll just type in manually. I use my calculator on the side. You know, I type this on my cell phone and then 355, enter. And then here 70 times 3, it's 210. And then 38 times 4, I'm not sure how how much that gives. So let me do this on my calculator. 152. Oh, I had it. I'm just going to type it again. Here we go. I just typed the first number and it popped, right? It's not perfect. It's getting better and better with time, but see, Copilot is suggesting a formula that multiplies the price unit by column number of items sold daily. So I will click again on show formula, and here we go. It gives me my sales price and everything. So I will just click on apply, and boom, I have my answers right here. So perfect. That was the first use case I wanted to show you, the formula by example, and also the Copilot button at the top. Another thing I want to show you is that my boss asked me to add the employee IDs to this table here, because we want to anonymize the salesperson. We don't want to show the sales data to everyone. So we want to code that, right? So let's ask Copilot to do it for us. So here in column E, I have my salesperson, and in another tab, another report that I actually got from the pay system, you know, the payroll system. I have another table here which contains my employee ID, and basically I want to merge these two lists. So the first thing first, this is not set as a table, and I want to make sure that AI understands my data, so I will switch that to a table. So what I do, I will just select my data, I click here on insert, and then I click on table. Here we go. And then I just have this pop-up that I told you earlier, and that says the data for your table is in the following range, A1 to B6, that is correct. And then make sure you want to check my table has headers, and then I will click OK, right? And then one thing you can do to organize your workbook pretty well is to click on the table design tab at the top here and actually go name this table. As you can see at the top, it's called table 1, and I would just call this table employee table, okay? Then click on enter. Here we go. And then I just gave a name to my table. I'll go back to my transactions tab here, and I will click on my table. That is really important. I will toggle the Copilot button at the top here. And I will once again do another prompt to bring the employee ID over. Can you create a column that will be the employee ID? I want you to base your formula on the salesperson column in this table and bring over the employee ID from the employee table. And let's see if Copilot understands like that. I didn't give it much info here, much, how could I say that? Much context, much details, but Copilot is pretty intelligent and it should understand what I mean by that. If it doesn't work on the first try, it might, it's kind of new. Just make sure you give it more details, such as the sheet name or the table name or stuff like that, right? So let me zoom out a little bit here. Here we go. So I have my prompt here that I just wrote with you, and it says, looking at your range, here's one formula column to review and insert in column M, the employee ID. And Copilot tells me what this formula actually does. It retrieves the employee ID for each salesperson by matching their name with their corresponding entry in the employee table, right? And then it gives me the formula here, XLOOKUP salesperson, employee table is going to have a look at the employee table, and then it's going to bring back the employee ID. And if you want to learn the formula, which I highly encourage, you can click on show explanation here. And as you can see, Copilot tells us that it finds the corresponding employee ID for each salesperson in this table by using the following steps. And then it tells you what it is actually doing, right? So I'm just going to click on insert column here. Boom. It added the column on column M right here. And as you can see, the first one is espresso martini. And then the second one is cappuccino catty. So 054 for cappuccino catty. If I go in the employee ID tab, cappuccino catty 054, espresso martini 001. So Copilot actually merged both of your lists in a second. This is the coolest trick with Copilot. Look at that. I'll just hit send here, And Copilot gives me this answer right now, and he says you should subscribe to the Piggy Bank accounting channel for more great videos. Okay, last use case, back to the transactions table right here. And my boss, he asks me, he actually want to know the region here that we have. When they are over $500, he wants me to give him a report about that. And also when the region is uptown and over $800. So I need to do a formula and I don't know how, so let's ask Copilot. I need a column with a formula that enters downtown over 500 for sales over $500. If the region is downtown, enter uptown over 800 if the sales region uptown are over 800. All right, so we're gonna send this prompt here and Copilot will actually make a formula for us that will answer this specific question. So Excel just really got easier, and while it's loading, it's actually going to suggest us this formula right here. Here we are. So Copilot is categorizing our sales. So basically what it did is an if formula built in with an and formula. So it gave us when the region is downtown and when the sales is also above 500, it's going to write downtown over 500. And then there's another condition. If the region is uptown and the sales is above 800, it's going to write uptown over 800. I can again click on show explanation here if needed. Other than that, we can just click on insert column. It's going to add the column right here. And here we go. We're going to validate Copilot if it did a right job. I'm going to close the pane here right now. Going to scroll over to the right. And then if I click on my sales category, and then I just filter on downtown over 500, I will click apply. And then I can see in the region column, column D, if I click on my filter, I only see downtown. And then if I go in the sales amount, column L, I click here, it's only anything above 500, so Copilot actually works. I made many videos on Copilot in Excel and Copilot in general, which I've put in a playlist right here. If you want to learn in a more structured way, I have my Microsoft Copilot Essentials course, which is available right here somewhere on the screen. Catch you soon!